welcome to another The Forsaken. Hopefully everyone's having a decent day today. Welcome players, welcome chat. Thank you for your patience as we got things set up here. Was having a little bit of trouble with OBS, but seems to be okay now. All right, so let's, so y'all just let me know, chat, let me know if the music's too loud or if you can't hear the music. And I will get into our recap here. Let's see. Unfortunately, we have Joe, who plays Rhaenyra, out this evening. But our summary from last week, John continued his ritual on Zephyr's longsword, bringing 3 spirits out inside a protective barrier within the summoning circle. The spirits were mostly talkative, 2 revealing truths regarding the Mage Wars, along with what was happening currently, and 1 reaching out into their minds in an attempt at control. As the mental conversations continued, so did the group questioning the spirits about what was happening. One of the spirits, who had been a teacher at Fairweather, tipped them off that the crystals that had been implanted into the students were not what they initially seemed, and tried to clue them in as to why mage spirits were being used in the current conflict. Eventually, with all questions exhausted, as was the group, John dismissed the summoning circle, and everyone retired to their bedrolls. The beginning of the night went by mostly smoothly, except for the first watch seeing a weird flash of light in the distance, along with hearing a strange, disjointed melody. Close to the end of the second watch, however, something else began to make itself known. Zephyr and Tegan began dancing, unable to stop, even as the third watch began to take up their post. Rhaenyra, checking on them, began to dance too. Ren resisted, and the culprit, a large spirit, soon revealed itself. Ren had moments to yell for the others. Gerbil woke up John and Lyric to assist in the fight. The fight began with 3 of their members charmed, but that all changed when Gerbil fired a banishing arrow, I cannot talk this evening, that took the spirit out of the plane for 1 round, thus breaking the enchantment. It was a long fight, given that the spirit seemed resistant to most of their attacks, but they eventually were able to dispel it. Halfway through the fight, Pyxrin ran off, but continued to assist from a distance. And that's what happened last week on The Forsaken. Alright, folks. So y'all are kind of, standing, I think it was like 15, 20 feet from from where your bedrolls are set up, except for Pyxrin, which I think was a little bit farther out. I would say a few of you would probably look around and not see Pyxrin with the rest of you. The spirit is gone, nothing in its place. John and Lyric are just sort of standing there like, well, that was a lot. Tegan, you have 2 points of exhaustion. And
oh dear.
Zephyr, were you on watch with Tegan, or were you on watch with Ren?
No, it was Rhaenyra was on watch with me.
Okay.
Yeah, Pyxrin was with Gerbil. We did first watch.
Yes, and Zephyr was with You're muted, Andrew.
I got 4 hours of sleep.
But that was a really funny joke, Andrew.
Well, you got 4 hours of sleep, but here's where the exhaustion comes in, is from the dancing.
Oh, right.
So you get
dancing hard.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have 2 points of exhaustion as well.
Dance.
Actually, you know what? Both of you make that 1 point of exhaustion, because it's a point of exhaustion for every hour danced, and I think y'all only dance a little bit over an hour. So only give yourselves 1.
Oh, okay.
I won't cripple you too much.
Good day.
So generous.
Generous.
So what you're saying is
down dead.
So that was
from dancing.
So that was the DM telling us, don't rest, go straight to that weird light we saw.
Oh, yeah, weird light. I gotta write that down.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Zephyr danced for most of the watch.
Well, y'all saw it towards the end. It was towards the latter part of the second watch that you were on. So
Got it.
I only had you roll. Each roll that I had you do was for an hour. So you danced 1 hour, I know. Then you failed the other one, but that was right before the third watch woke up. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll take it.
Only sometimes, Danny. Only sometimes. Kind of benevolent DM. All right.
You didn't see the stats of the thing we fought last week.
So,
Right.
yeah. So what do y'all want? So y'all are again. Pyxrin, do you stay where you are? Kind of away from the
Yeah.
group. Okay.
Yeah.
So y'all probably wouldn't see Pyxrin if you looked around.
Probably for like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Is everybody okay?
Zephyr's literally just gonna go lay down in his bedroll. Good night. See you in the morning.
For once, I agree with the bird. And Gerbil's just gonna go lay down.
I'll respond to Ren. I'll say a little banged up, but it's over now. You see where Pyxrin went?
No, sorry, I think kind of run a little bit at the beginning, but I turned around quickly to face the whatever that was. Can I look around wherever the spirit was just to see if
Sure.
there was anything left behind or anything?
Yeah. Make a perception check, please, or an investigation check.
Do I get to pick, or you're saying?
Yeah,
make
no,
an
you can make either
investigation?
one. You can pick.
Perfect. 13.
13. Yeah, you kind of look in the direction where the spirit had mostly stood before while you were fighting it. No, you don't see anything left behind. As you're looking, Mags will kind of sniff the area where the spirit was, but won't act too alarmed or too interested. But... All right.
Tegan will light a torch. It's still dark out, I assume.
Yes. You probably have, I mean, looking in the sky, I would say you would probably know you have maybe about 3 hours before it starts getting morning.
Okay. Tegan
Or at
will
least
make
before
us.
the sun starts rising.
Okay. She'll make us like a slow circle around camp, like almost like we're zooming a watch, just
Okay.
looking for Pyxrin to see if we can
Okay.
see what happened, not knowing what happened.
Yeah, and I'm also going to go into kind of just observing mode. Seems I'm still technically, this is my watch, so.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, are you attempting to hide or anything, Pyxrin, or are you just where you are? Where you are?
She's just standing where she is,
Okay.
and she kind of has like her hand, like she's bent over a little bit, like she has her hands on her knees, and she's just like breathing heavily, and yeah.
Okay. Tegan and
Little
Rin, make
shaky.
a perception check for me.
Sure.
Thank you.
Perception. That's
Wait.
a 22.
So Tegan and Ren have exhaustion.
Yes, level
don't.
1 of exhaustion.
Oh, Ren
Oh,
doesn't.
Ren's-
Just Zephyr and Tegan.
No, Ren, because Ren didn't dance.
Oh, Rhaenyra does because he danced. Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
Rhaenyra's
Rhaenyra's
has a level of exhaustion.
Yes. 22.
It's everybody's.
I was just to make sure. I was like,
Sure.
just like, oh yeah, let's have the people that are exhausted pick up the watch because it's their fault. No. I was just.
What did you get, Ren? For your perception
What?
check. For your perception check, were you looking? You said you were looking around, right?
Oh, I thought you already did that. I said 13, and you said I didn't see
That was
anything.
for the spirit. Roll a separate one for me, please.
Oh, I'm...
Unless you
Gotcha.
weren't.
No, I got you. I
Okay.
got you.
Okay.
I thought you were talking about the spirit thing, too. I was like, I thought we already covered that.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
20. Dirty 20.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Rin and Tegan, as you're kind of like, patrolling the area and looking around, you don't see anything else. The disjointed melody, all of you would have stopped noticing that kind of melody that was floating through the air here and there. That has stopped. Your pendants don't feel as warm as they did, although that still a little bit, but not as warm as they did when the wraith was there. Other than that, you don't see anything particular. Rin and Tegan. Tegan, you would see, since you were looking for Pyxrin, you would see Pyxrin. Was it about 20 feet that you went from the group, Pyxrin?
Oh gosh.
I think.
Probably. It was
Yeah.
a bit away because
Yeah.
she was running at first.
Yeah,
And then,
so maybe about
yeah.
20 to 30 feet away from the, kind of like in the distance, Tegan, you would see, I would say since it's still dark outside, you would see something, a figure of sorts, kind of against the sky and a little bit of the moonlight shining on it.
But yeah, okay. So if I can't tell right away, it's
You
Pyxrin.
can't
I'll
tell
just...
right away that it's Pyxrin, right? But you can tell
Um,
something's there.
All right, I'll put out the torch
Mhm.
and approach, not in stealth, but sort of like not to be observed, if you know, sort of like being cautious. I'm
So,
going to
stealthily?
approach stealthily. Yeah, stealthily.
Okay, so make a
So I
stealth
could-
check for me
Sure,
to see if Pyxrin
non-aggressive
sees you.
stealth.
Sure, sure.
Non-aggressive.
You're not sneaking up with a knife in hand, but
No,
you're
correct.
Oh
just
god,
sneaking up.
that'll be very bad.
Yeah, 24.
Okay, yeah, you're able to. Yeah, Pyxrin, you don't. As far as you can tell, like you can still see some of the figures in the distance. Pyxrin back towards the camp, kind of moving about. You see Zephyr going back to his bedroll. Dribble, what are you doing?
Gerbil, which he went straight to his bedroll after
Okay.
like Zephyr did,
Okay.
but I would say when he noticed that like Tegan didn't go back to bed and
Right.
Ren didn't, he kind of like did realize Pyxrin's God. He'd probably like he'd kind of like sit up and just like look around a little bit, just
Okay.
and wait till for one of them to come back before he goes to sleep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and Tegan, you're able to sneak up. How close are you getting to what you're seeing?
I'm going to continue until I can make out who it is, who the shape is.
Okay. All right. I would say with that high of a roll that you are able to get close enough to where it looks similar to Pyxrin. You can see the horns and the size of the figure, the armor.
All right, I won't call out, but in a normal voice to Pyxrin. Pyxrin.
Yeah. She'll
okay?
like suddenly stand up straight, almost like as if nothing happened. I know, right? Is it done? Sorry, where are you?
I'll stand up and reveal myself.
Oh,
He was the horse the whole time.
hey.
All right,
Wow.
All right,
try again.
sorry.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Happy Mop Dirt Biggie Book.
Suddenly, a gnome.
What a greeting! What a greeting!
That horse does not like you.
I know, it's just a pain in my butt.
Man.
Like he's following me around.
Oh, here comes another one.
We come upon a
There's a bit. There's a pony.
So many horses.
Just a bunch of horses just surround.
They're surrounding me. I don't know what to do. I've acquired aggro.
So many. So many aggressive
It's a
horses.
swarm.
All right.
Extra
Yeah, I'm
load of
all right.
horses.
Is everything all right down there?
It's gone. It's dead.
Okay. Yeah, sorry I couldn't be of much help. And she kind of brushes her armor off and just stands up a little bit straighter and just kind of fiddles with like her sword hilts and stuff. I'll stay up and I've already had enough sleep.
Okay, come on back. It happens.
What?
People, sometimes you just, it's happened. I make rash decisions a few times that I've regretted. So
She'll just silently follow you back to camp after you said that. And sit down.
As soon as Gerbil sees them walk into camp, he's just gonna fall back and just.
Okay.
All of a sudden, we hear this thump.
Nice, nice. So y'all, so Tegan and Ren, are the two of you staying up to finish watch?
I'm staying on watch for sure.
Okay.
And I'll explain that to them being awake that I don't need to sleep, so I'll keep
Okay.
keep watch.
all right, I will go try to meditate for
Okay.
try to get 4 hours
All
in.
right. Yep. Mags will stay with you, of course, Ren, and take the watch with you. All right. So, yeah, I mean, within 3 hours, the sun starts rising. Y'all can do whatever you want to do. If you want to wake up when the sun rises, or if you want to sleep in a bit, it's up to you. How do
Probably
you
when
want
the sun starts coming up, I'll start trying to make I'll find some food and start making stuff.
Okay.
At the sound of Ren cooking, Gerbil will get up, look over Ren's shoulder while he cooks, realize it's once again breakfast vegetables, and Gerbil will go find meat for breakfast.
Okay. All right. So, so Ren, were you going out and like gathering things in the forest?
Yes.
Okay. And Gerbil, you're going out to find some meat.
Yeah.
Doing some hunting? All right,
Yeah,
both of you
sure,
make
yeah.
survival checks for me.
Both of us?
Yes.
I'm trying to remember.
Oof. And I'm in a forest, right? So do I get well, I guess it depends on how I roll.
Okay. I completely forgot about this, but I looked it up the other day. It's because my background is Outlander. I have the Wanderer feature,
Wonderful.
which it says
15 for
I can
me.
find food, fresh water for myself and up to 5 people each day.
Okay.
I mean, I could still do a survival check, but I found that out and I was like, oh yeah, I have a background.
Yeah, no, I won't make you even do the check, Gerbil.
Okay.
Rin, you got a 15?
15.
Okay. So Gerbil, you're able to find, I would say you're able to find some meat in this area. Trying to think. There's not really any streams, so it would have to be something like squirrels or rabbits.
I probably wouldn't get squirrels.
Okay, so you go after some
Thank you.
That
rabbits.
seems a little bit too much.
Okay, cool.
But also, there's
Cool.
not a lot of meat on squirrels.
Okay, so you're
I'm a
able,
bugbear.
yeah. So you're able to get however many rabbits that you want, I would say. Ren, you are able to find, what specifically are you looking for? Like berries, vegetables?
Just things that I would know would be edible
Okay.
for eating.
Yeah,
And
you're
it is forest, and we've been there for a long time. So if it's a success,
Yeah.
I would find twice as much because of my favorite training.
Absolutely. You're able to find as many greens and as many berries as you want to.
Sweet.
All right.
Fiddlehead ferns for all of you.
Vegetables?
You're welcome.
No.
Okay, well, between Gerbil and Ren, the waking up to breakfast is delightful. You have meat, you have vegetables, you have fruit. Quite the little feast
Go right
here.
with this. Some nice potatoes.
Potatoes.
Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
Stew.
Yes!
Wow. Let me see
All right, my job's here.
Potato.
Done.
And
Good night. I'm
D&D session
retiring from the bird streams.
Oh man, I was trying to see if let's see here.
I warned y'all about Sleepy Gerbil.
The light that we saw, that was during second watch? Is that what we said?
Yes, it was
Okay.
during first.
Or that was
watch.
first watch.
Oh,
That was
first watch. Okay.
Yeah, so those in first watch saw it, but they passed it on to the second watch, who weren't able to pass it on to you.
No, because they were dancing their hearts
So
out.
you have no idea about the light.
Yeah, that was hence my question.
Okay. Yeah, I would say that probably Lyric would help, getting breakfast fixed up. and him and if anyone wanted any like wine in the morning, I would say that he would have a bottle of wine if you wanted to indulge yourself. So yeah. All right. Anything y'all want to accomplish this morning other than having this wonderful breakfast before you set off for the day? Perfect.
Since I got a second 4-hour,
Yes.
okay, I'll take it off.
Yeah, you're good.
And you leveled up.
Officially, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Yes.
did I pick up hit points for the meditation?
If you do, if you're supposed to.
Yeah, it
Okay.
counts as a long rest, yeah. Okay.
Here's
Yeah.
the question. Does the battle count as an interruption to long rest?
For this, I'm not going to do that to you.
Cool.
So yeah, you get the you can
But
get,
I still have the level of
If you-
exhaustion.
right. If you get the right amount of hours, you're still good. But you would still have that level of exhaustion. Yes, Zephyr.
Yeah, so at the 4-hour mark, Tegan's sitting there meditating, and you just see his eyes pop open right at the 4-hour mark, right on time.
All right. So I would say y'all would be able to probably start going around 10 o'clock probably in the morning. By the time you slept in and got those extra hours. So, yeah, head on your way. John and Lyric are, they're with you still. They get their tent together and get their stuff together. They'll make comments about what you fought. Probably, John would probably kind of like say that he was impressed with you, Gerbil, for your quick thinking with the banishment arrow. Since that definitely helped with the battle. And I would say John would know kind of, he would tell you that it seemed like a night wraith and, maybe even give an experience of another time that he might have either heard of one or maybe even ran into one. And Lyric will kind of pipe in that he's read it in a book. He's read about it in a book. He has a couple of books back at his home about wraiths. All right, so y'all continue on your way. So who is navigating and who is keeping an eye out?
Is this still all forest ahead that we're moving in through?
Yes, you are going into, you're going into mixed forests and a little bit of rolling hills.
I'll keep navigating.
Okay.
Okay.
Gerbil
Tegan
will also help navigate since he saw that light and stuff in the direction we were going.
Mm-hmm.
Gerbil will kind of stay up front and help navigate too.
Okay. All right.
Tegan will bring up the rear.
Okay. So you're keeping an eye out, Tegan, as well?
Yep.
All right.
Just checking behind us.
Anyone helping Tegan with perception?
In the back.
Okay. All right.
All right, roll.
So you both can, so on both fronts, either both of you can roll or you can do it so with advantage.
I'll give Pyxrin an advantage.
Okay. So, Pyxrin, you roll a perception check with advantage, please. And Gerbil and Ren, are you both separately rolling for, I think it's survival with navigation? Yes.
Sure. Or I could do advantage.
We can both roll.
Okay.
22.
All right, wonderful.
Oof.
17.
Okay.
Oh. A leaf flies into your face.
If it makes a difference, we're in the forest and I can never get lost in the forest.
Yeah. You would definitely, you could definitely
my actual number is a 10. But it
do
was
so. Roll again for me.
Okay.
With advantage.
Then it's 15.
Okay. All right. Cool. God, Jesus Christ. Okay. Okay. So Ren and Gerbil, the two of you are able to successfully navigate as you start traveling through some light forest and a little bit of rolling hills that you come to. Pyxrin, you, with Tegan's help, are able to keep watch. From the back of the party, you're able to kind of keep an eye out on things. You don't see any immediate dangers. You do start seeing some interesting things kind of in the trees as you're kind of going on this path through them. It looks like kind of like white owls with tails. But they'll be sitting in the trees, and then you'll see a couple of them kind of fly from one branch to another. They don't seem to be like actively flying in like formation, but more or less just kind of camping in the area. But yeah. You might see a couple on some lower branches, and if you wanted to, you could take a closer look at. But you would see at first you wouldn't see them, but probably about, let's see, how far are you going in here? It's a quarter of the day. So I would say about maybe like 4 hours in, as you start getting into like a little bit more of a forested area, you will start seeing more of them.
Like fluffy?
Yes, yeah, they are fluffy. Kind of a mink-like look to them. Yeah, it looks like an owl with a tail. Maybe a little bit more pointy ears.
Tegan, they're
What do
so
you-
fluffy.
Are they sparkly?
Can I have one?
Zephyr, just to
Careful.
Zephyr, they are a little bit sparkly, Zephyr. As you kind of look up, and as she points them out, and you look up in the trees. As you kind of start going under the tree coverage, and you start seeing them here and there, and you start kind of passing under some larger branches. You hear a little.
What?
Lead-
Are we talking like bird tails or like monkey tails or like what kind of tails?
It's almost like a cat tail.
Okay.
These are owls?
Cat owl.
As
yeah.
you start getting in, they look, I mean, as I said, you'll see a couple on some lower branches if you want to get off your horses and take a better look, because right now you're trotting on some horses. So it's a little hard to get like an extreme, view of them. But yeah, from where you're riding and from where you can see, as you're starting to see them in the trees and kind of flying from one branch to another, they look like owls with a cat tail and with a little bit pointier ears than what you're used to seeing on owls.
Since Tegan slept late, he probably would have grabbed up some rabbit leftovers
Okay.
as they were wrapping up camp.
Okay.
I'm going to take one of the rabbit leftovers and point to Pyxrin and tell her to put it on her wrist and hold her wrist up.
Wait. What?
See if they come.
Really? Oh, she's totally gonna do that. She's gonna put it on her right wrist. Wait, do I have to lift?
Yeah,
Like this?
a little high so they can see it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right. Okay. Yeah. As you're holding it up, one of the you'll see a couple of them kind of like look out and kind of cock their head to kind of get a better look at your hand, and one of them will fly down onto your wrist, and so you feel it kind of you feel that weight on your wrist as it lands on it, and it eats up the piece of rabbit, grabs it, and starts like. Pyxrin, make a wisdom check for me.
Ooh.
Fluffy. Let me see. What is my? Okay. Oh God. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 24.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
She's just like mesmerized.
Mesmerized by the bird. Yeah.
It's so cute.
Very fluffy, white mostly. Its wings have kind of a tan look to them with little white spots. Ears are pointy with black tips. They have owl-like eyes and this beautiful, long, fluffy white tail.
And it bites your head off.
So it eats the rabbit,
Jaw
the piece
dislocates.
of rabbit, and just kind of like looks at you, Pyxrin, like kind of like turning its head the way birds do, and
Can I pet you? I hear voices.
if you want to make an animal handling check to see if you
Scratch
can,
the belly.
it is a very fluffy belly.
Oh, look. It's a baby cougar cub. I just want to pet it.
Oh boy. Uh-huh.
6.
Okay. All right. So you go to scratch the belly, and even before your hand gets to it, it flies off back to the tree.
Aww.
You do see a couple of them kind of keeping an eye on you, as you know, the one that went back up to the tree is like, and then a few of them kind of look back like, food, you know, food.
Keegan, can I have another one?
All right, be careful. Be careful. I'll hand her another piece of rabbit meat.
Okay. All right.
Puts it on the same ring.
And you will start to see, I would say most of you are probably like watching this at this moment. You will start to see a few of them kind of fly over to branches above, kind of closer to the group of you, since one of them got food.
Zephyr's really excited at a new sound that he knows and is literally just trying to talk to them.
Gerbil's gonna go up to John and Lyric and be like, "Hey, are those things dangerous?"
John and Lyric would probably have like a huge smile on their face and just like watching this unfold. John kind of like looking up and mesmerized with them, you know, kind of like, they're usually harmless. More like cats.
Gerbil's very comforted.
Zephyr, a few of them, you'll hear, when you squawk out to them, you'll hear a squawk back. And Pyxrin, so you put the piece of rabbit onto your wrist again. A different one comes down and lands on your wrist. A little bit heavier than the first one, but lands there, so you give a little bit more of a give. Make a wisdom check for me.
What are they trying to
I
do?
just imagine like a big old like chunk
Rolling
cat
'cause it
bird.
went
All of a
Sure,
sudden, you can
that's
hear
fine.
it speak in your mind, and it says, "We are Shiga."
The tail wraps around your arm like a.
23.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. It eats the kind of, and it eats the rabbit, the piece of rabbit on your wrist, and sits there for a bit.
And try to pet that one too.
Okay, make an animal handling check again, please.
I've seen the movie The Birds
Shut up.
too many times for this.
Stop ruining my moment. Hit all the fluffy things. Maybe. Hold on. 11. Maybe not. But she'll
Okay.
pet
All
it.
right. Yeah. It will almost kind of flap off of your arm as you're reaching for it, but will kind of just stand there a little bit rigid as it lets you scratch its chest. Yeah. Very fluffy. Very soft.
Can I keep this one?
I would say after just a minute, it would, or after just a few seconds, it will just kind of relax, and you'll hear even almost kind of a little bit of a purr.
Are they supposed to do that? Like
I
a
have
cat?
no idea. I have no idea.
Oh, this is great.
He's so cute.
Zephyr's having a field day.
Zephyr's just having fun.
After, I guess Ren's next to Gerbil. Gerbil will kind of. If she keeps one of those, she's not getting a griffin. Just saying it.
Yeah.
I'll have one.
Yeah. This is. Yeah.
No
I
griffin
mean, you
for
could
you.
try. You could definitely try to have both. Yeah. It does. It just.
Have I ever seen owls like this before?
You have not.
Okay, just checking.
It's
How
a
does-
sparkle.
How does my pendant feel? Riding next
I
to
almost thought you said appendix.
No.
Rupturing.
Look down and you see one of the
God,
owls
no.
ripping it out.
Yes. Hey.
Wisdom saving
I
throws
really wish.
4.
I really wish.
It was a distraction. Huge distraction.
You said something after that, Tegan. You said, "How does your pendant feel after riding beside what?"
Riding, because I'm riding next to Pyxrin, which
Oh,
is
okay, with the
close
with the
proximity
owl.
to the owl. Yeah.
No, you don't. Would you say you're within 10 feet of Pyxrin?
Side by side on horseback.
I mean, he's providing the rabbit.
Yeah, I'm reaching
so-
over and handing her, rabbit
Make
leftovers.
a wisdom.
Oh, no.
Make a wisdom check, Tegan.
Sure.
You're gonna realize he's the source of
And
food.
your pendants feel just a little bit warm, but they felt warm pretty much a little bit warm this entire
Okay.
time. It hasn't gotten any hotter.
Save or check?
Just a check.
Okay, just a check.
Mhm.
Oh, I keep clicking the wrong one.
Like,
15.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, I should. Well, if it's, I must stipulate if it is a charm effect, I have advantage.
You're fine. I mean, you don't.
Okay.
Nothing happens. You're okay.
I just must.
You don't need advantage.
All right, I will say to Pyxrin, it's
You were
really the owl's choice. Just let it be, and if it follows you, it follows you.
what if it flies away? Can't catch it, or is it not normal up here to catch?
If you're still rubbing its belly, it's still just like.
She's totally just scritching away at
Yeah.
I'm here pregnant.
help. This is not how you get pregnant, Zephyr.
Came here
You
pregnant.
hear Lyric and John laugh and look at each other.
No, we don't have these mammal bird things. Do they lay eggs? We don't know.
1 + 1 is 2.
All right.
She'll just keep going on her horse and just.
Okay. And keep. Okay. All right. Okay. Why don't you make one more animal handling check with me, Pyxrin, and do so with advantage.
Advantage. Roll that nat 20.
I'm gonna breed it. No, I'm just kidding.
She's like, I need two.
Oh my god. It's like you get two of the
15.
same gender and you just.
What was it, Pyxrin?
15.
15? Okay.
Mhm.
It stays on your arm.
I gotta think of a name for it. Kind of
boy.
muttering to herself out loud.
You'll hear as you're kind of like continuing to, and the forest is kind of staying here now. You had a little bit of rolling hills, and now you're kind of entering into this kind of like, not extremely dense forested area, but definitely light sunlight coming through the trees. It seems like a very calm forest for what it's for what it's worth. You do still see occasionally you'll see these little these white owl creatures flying from branch to branch. Here in this
Following
area. You would also, why don't everyone except for Pyxrin, who is, kind of sidetracked by this owl on her arm, the rest of you make perception checks for me.
24.
Okay.
Okay, hold
I'm
on.
just
Dirty 20.
All right.
12. I'm just imagining Pyxrin being so nice to this new owl creature she just saw, and while riding this horse that hates her.
Yes.
Like the horse is like, "Are you kidding me?
Just
Oh
come
yeah.
full
yeah,
circle.
yeah.
Never fed me."
Hey, you got watered by that guy over there.
3 days ago.
10 for me.
Okay. Sorry. Just replying. Okay. So anyone with, I would say, probably a 12 or above would also kind of notice, I mean, you've been seeing kind of like bits of spider webs like through this entire trip. They are starting to get a little bit more frequent as you're continuing through this forest. Like after the next, like after you had ran into the owls, we'll say you've been traveling for about a half hour now. And as you're getting deeper into this forest, you're seeing more and more little, like, and it's almost like that they were like something was traveling on the trail on the same path that you're traveling on, and maybe like the trees also that are kind of lining the path and starting into the forest that's surrounding this. You're kind of making your way through the trees there. You'll see kind of little pieces of spider web, like kind of almost trampled onto the ground and against the trees as you continue through this area. All of you would also notice that your pendants, as you continue traveling for the next half hour, 45 minutes to an hour, start getting a little bit warmer and warmer. Not to the point that it's scalding or too hot to but you're definitely noticing a temperature change. After the next hour, you start seeing through the forest a bit of a clearing. And as you approach, Gerbil, make a Constitution saving throw for me, please.
Oh, joy.
As the horses kind of come upon this clearing, you see that
Nat 20.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, you definitely, you feel, you suddenly, like, it's almost like you're made aware of your wound, but it's not really, like, hurting you or, exhausting you any. So you come upon this clearing, and you see that it kind of clears out to almost like the side of a mountain that's in the distance. We're talking, like, probably, like, 40 feet away. But between you and that, and also continuing forest across the way here, which you would know is continuing your path south, you see kind of a familiar sight, but different. Two hands, stone hands sticking out of the ground, similar to the statue that you found by the Field of Sunflowers that Geneva met you at, and you had fought the owl bears. These hands are definitely different, whereas the hands before were a little bit more relaxed. These are almost like making this motion towards the sky. Standing probably about 50 feet. Both of them, they don't really have a base, but both of them are just kind of sticking out of the ground. And these are definitely don't seem as kept as the statue that you saw back in the Field of Sunflowers. There's all kinds of moss on these, kind of draped. The stone has turned a little bit green from overgrowth. You have a little bit of thicker vines kind of going around the base of the of the two hands. Zephyr, you would know. Let me actually. You know what? Let me message you what you say.
I love that the DM gives all the secret information to the character that can't talk straight to us.
Happens.
Not that knowing Andrew, even if he could talk, he would tell us.
Oh, man.
You're not as dumb as you look.
As I sketch these hands, they look more like weird zombie hands with all the moss on them.
Okay. All right. There you go.
How you can draw hands is impressive.
Yeah. They're not great hands. They're good doodle hands.
Yeah, you hear a bit as you... So you're about probably about 25 to 25-ish feet away from this statue. You have the forest kind of ahead of you where, after this clearing, the forest starts back up again. In the distance, you see a very large mountain that seems to be kind of your next phase after going through this smaller forest. You have the statues kind of off about 25-ish feet to your right. And the clearing kind of continues over in that direction. Yeah, about 50, Rin, that's about 50 feet in the air. Yeah. 6 fingers. No, each hand only has 5 fingers, Andrew.
We're not ready for that kind of crossover yet.
Yeah, so what do y'all want to do?
Damn Clement.
No, wait. We should probably double check the surroundings. Remember the ones by the sunflowers, they had a defense mechanism and we fought owlbears.
Good point.
So maybe we should just go up to them quite yet.
Why not take care of Sheikah at the source?
Well, this isn't our destination, right? We're still trying to find...
Well, we were trying to find Cullem, who's been studying
She dead.
the Shiga. I mean, we just know he was down around this area.
Yeah.
I guess he could be in Dim Clement. Like
We're not out in the clearing yet. We're kind of in the forest around the clearing.
I would say you just exited the forest. You're kind of standing just outside the forest. Again, you have like this clearing, and you have the forest that continues to the south of you, which is probably the way you should be going to get where you were thinking you were going. You're about 25 feet away from this statue that is in the clearing.
Gotcha.
When we first went to Dim Clement with the statues of the sunflower fields, I know that was like a weird thing with what was her name? Geneva. Geneva. And was there a flash of light when we teleported?
Make a wisdom make a wisdom check to see if you remember.
Okay.
Not a wisdom check, an intelligence check to see if you remember that.
But I rolled Indian. That's a 6.
Okay. You can't remember.
Is there...
Zephyr just draw his sword. He might have squatters. You must defend yourself.
Is there any like spider webs in the clearing?
Make a quick perception check for me, Gerbil, since you're looking for it. Or investigation check. Make an investigation check. I'm sorry.
I was also going to check just the edge, just quickly looking at the edge of the clearings to see if there's anything.
Okay,
14.
make a perception check, Ren. Triple with your 14, you see, you see those kind of like trampled on spider webs that were coming out into the clearing, and you do see them kind of continuing on into the woods ahead of you, past the clearing. You do see a little bit that kind of traveled towards the statues, yes. And what was your roll, Ren?
Dirty 20.
Okay. So you're looking out on the edge of the clearing just to see if you see anything suspicious?
Just, anything.
You are checking the edge of the clearing here, and as you said, you have like the corner of the edge of the forest, and it kind of almost like a C shape around about 50 feet away to a little bit of a mountainside that kind of goes up, not too far, and you kind of start coming back, and you think that you see across the clearing, kind of going into the woods that you are probably going into next. You think that you see a little bit of like a flash of movement.
Okay. I quickly get back to the group if I was away from them and kind of just say,
Sure.
I
Think you can-
might have saw something moving in that direction.
You might
Did
have
I-
squatters.
Was it just kind of like I think I saw something, or did I see something potentially? Like, is it growing up in the woods, would it more than likely would I think it's like, oh, that's just an animal, or do I think
No,
it's a
it
person
definitely
or
didn't
something?
seem taller than an animal.
Okay.
That's for sure. It seemed, and it didn't seem like even the taller animals would have usually have more of a length to them, and this did not. So it seemed
Like something
possibly humanoid
Gotcha.
in some form or fashion.
And it's on the, how far away? It's like,
You are standing on the edge of the clearing that you just came of the woods you just came out of. This was he would have saw this in the forest that you'll be entering in next. So across the clearing. So probably about 35 feet from you, probably 40.
I'll say
We can't right now.
I'm gonna go check it out if anybody wants to come with me.
I'll have Ren say, hold up for a second, Ren. And I will tie up my horse at the clearing.
Take my horse down the old town. Okay.
And I will,
Zephyr will follow
copyright
suit.
strike. Oops. And I will wild shape into a giant owl.
Okay.
So
So
could hit you as bit.
So the group of you see Tegan suddenly just wild shape into a giant owl form. You've never seen this before, and possibly aren't aware that he had this ability.
Yeah, Ren's reaction probably would have been what mine was just right there, where I was like, "What?"
And I will go up about 20 feet
Okay.
and fly over to see what possibly did Ren see.
Okay.
Trevor
All right.
will turn back towards Pyxrin
He
with the
just-
cat owl and be like, "Did it bite him or something?"
I think a note would suffice.
How dare you?
Did
We
you
all
know
saw
he?
the same thing.
Special
Here.
side effects.
I'm making it better.
You will kind of see the make an animal
Alcoholic
handling
bird.
check, Pyxrin, because this creature on your arm is starting. It seems a little panicked since seeing this giant owl suddenly appear and start flying into the air.
Wait, it's
Oh,
okay.
giant owl! Giant owls are huge.
Mhm.
Baby, shh.
Why'd we get horse?
14.
And you'll see him kind of, or you'll see it kind of like start to panic and start to kind of like move around on your arm a bit. It will kind of like go from your forearm up to your shoulder, Pyxrin. And almost like even go on top of your head and just start like squawking at the giant owl. Like it doesn't seem like, it seems afraid, but also a little like antagonistic a bit.
It's all right. He's a friend. I had no idea that he could do that. You all saw that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
Make a perception check for me, Tegan.
All right.
Now, Rin, what were you doing? Were you going ahead as well?
Well, he told me to pause, and then he turned into an owl. So,
Are you just
but
letting
probably,
Tegan take
but,
care of it?
but probably even with that, after I shake it off, I would probably skirt around the clearing and try and go over there too, stealthily.
Okay. Make a stealth check for me, please. Tegan, what was your roll?
21. I rolled with advantage because the owl gets advantage
That's
on
fine.
sight checks.
That's fine.
14.
14 for stealth?
Yep.
Hey, he had the meat.
Okay.
Dang
it's okay. So it's stealth, and then make a Please make a fresh perception check for me, please.
Me? Or
Yes,
him?
Rin. So sorry. That's what I said.
Dirty 20.
Okay. All right. All right. Yeah. Ren and Tegan. Tegan, as you're flying above here, you know, you have like the tops of the trees, so it's a little bit difficult to kind of see. Because are you flying above the trees?
Just at the tops, yeah.
Okay. So you do have a lot of the foliage that's kind of, because it is out, you have a lot of the foliage kind of obscuring the view a bit. But you can see a figure moving quickly through that forest. And you almost see kind of like a movement from one, like under one branch to another, on the ground, like they're running. And then you'll see like some smoke, like a puff of smoke. And then you'll see a little bit of movement about 10 feet from that. Kind of take another few steps, and then another puff of smoke. Ren, as you're kind of sneaking up into this, you know, on the edge of that second clearing. On the edge of the clearing to that second part of the forest. You see about the same thing. You're able to kind of see actually a little bit more clearly as you see a figure kind of in the distance, kind of go from behind one tree to the next, and you'll see a little bit of smoke. And then you'll see a movement about 10, 15 feet from that, a few trees over, going from one tree to another, and then another puff of smoke.
Do I see Tegan somewhere?
Yeah, if you would look up, you would see kind of the wings and the bulk of a giant owl above the tree line.
I will clasp my necklace and kind of call back to the other group and say, we definitely have somebody over here in my mind.
Okay.
You have to protect yourself.
With my perception, it's moving away from the clearing?
Yes, now it's moving away from the clearing.
And it looks like it's in a hurry.
After hearing that, Trevor will kind of wait. Did Ren go off like riding mags? Or
No, running through the woods with Max behind me.
okay, so Gerbil will kind of.
I would say after a couple of minutes, Tegan and Ren, you would stop seeing movement. Like you would see that maybe 3 or 4 times, that kind of succession of movements and the puff of smoke, movement and puff of smoke, and then you wouldn't see it anymore.
Okay.
As in it's gone, or just
Don't see the movement anymore.
Unsure.
Okay.
If it's left the area or if it just went into hiding somewhere.
All right.
Okay.
On losing track of it, I will circle back
Okay.
to the group. Land
Gerbil
on.
was about to go in until he sees a giant owl come back. He's like, oh,
I will.
okay.
I won't come back yet. I'll come back, but still as an owl, and I'll. How tall is a giant owl? I'm just worried my head.
I mean,
I was just
I
wondering
know,
if you were going to talk in a normal voice. With
I know that
Yes,
That's
they
a
can.
giant
I looked it
owl.
up. Yeah,
Yeah?
common.
Oh,
They speak
gosh.
common, Elvish, and Sylvan.
According to Forgotten Realms,
I'm Tegan
it's
Owl.
like
Woo.
9 feet tall with a wingspan of 20 feet.
Wow, I didn't know it was that friggin' big.
Terrifying.
It's a
You
giant owl.
You didn't realize
I
how
had
big
no
you
idea.
actually were.
again,
Think
I asked why did we
giant
buy these
eagle
horses if
from
we could
Lord
just
of the
ride
Rings,
Tegan the whole
but an owl.
Right? He's all rad.
I'll settle down next. I'll land next to Gerbil's horse.
For the record, I'm staying where I'm at just
Okay.
to observe and see if I see the movement again. But trying to stay hidden.
I'll comfort my horse. Like, just look at Tegan.
Like, trying to
Turn into an owl doesn't make you less of an asshole, does it?
Easily manipulated.
Yeah. So Ren, are you going back to the group as well? Are you circling
No,
back?
I'm trying to stay hidden and see if
Okay.
I see anything.
All right. I will say a little bit of a retcon here. When you were back at the statue before you started off in this direction and saw the movement, you would have noticed Mags paying specific attention to the statue, or at least to that area.
Okay.
Yeah, so you are staying hidden over there, and I'll say through roll that you are able to with no problem. If you're standing still, you don't see any more movement.
Okay.
Justice.
If I wiggle around, do I see movement?
No, I mean, if you're looking around, no.
You just very emphasize that because I'm standing still, I don't see any movement.
I'm just making sure that you're standing in the same space and you're not, like, walking towards where you saw it.
I'm not
okay.
Pursuing, because I haven't seen it. I'm more trying to just stay and see if I see it again.
Okay, yeah. You don't see any more movement. I mean, other than just, like, a here and there in bushes with, you would assume would be, with your background, you assume would be, like, small woodland animals.
Got it. I'll relay that I'm sticking around to that side to everybody else, but kind of also, I guess I could say it because we're role playing. This is a role playing game. Anyway, everybody,
Wait, what?
Yeah, I know, right? I'm gonna stick over here. I haven't seen anything, but I'm not gonna lie. I think we should pursue this quickly. So let's not dilly dally.
Okay. I'll be right there.
Is anyone that was back at back in the clearing getting closer to the stones?
Zephyr will pass close by the stones.
Okay. I would say that Lyric would probably go with you.
I'm glad.
Zephyr, as you get closer to the stones, you hear as you get within, like, probably, like, 15 feet, then 10 feet, you start to hear this kind of, like, at 15 feet, you start to hear this kind of low whooshing sound. Almost like if you're close to a river, or maybe close. I would probably liken it to, and I would say Zephyr might have experienced this, is to if you're standing, like, in a mountainous area and there are some steep cliffs and you hear, like, the wind coming through the stones, coming in between the mountains. It sounds a bit like that, like wind rushing, I guess. And as you get, and that sound, like, starts a little bit at, like, 15 feet, and then you get with 10 feet if you go that close, and it gets a little bit louder. And you start to feel that kind of, I don't remember if you felt this, I know someone has, I know a few of you have here, kind of like the air kind of, kind of like the air getting sucked out of your ears. You feel like you have to, kind of pop them. And I'm going to send I'm going to send you them. Okay. Lyric will turn to you and be like, "Do you hear that?"
I'm glad.
Oh, man. John.
I'll take out my coin.
Okay. All right. You take out your coin, and hold on a second, my cat wants up. I think I let you know what you need to do if you're looking to do what I think you're doing, taking it out. I'll just say it'll be so you hold it up. Let me just send you a message for a second.
Since
Pyxrin's
Lyric
gonna walk up to
called
Tegan
out,
and try to scritch.
Since Lyric called out to John, Gerbil will kind of, like, turn around and, like, see Zephyr is close to the portal. Oh, for the and just like quickly like kind of turn around and just like
Okay.
go towards Lyric, and I assume John's going towards Lyric. And just,
Yes, John's going towards Lyric.
Oh.
Yes.
Wait, I
Lyric's
thought
standing
we were
about.
going that way.
Lyric's standing
Like,
about 5 feet from Zephyr. You see Zephyr pull out this coin out of a pocket from his cloak, and hold it.
Coin.
Yeah. It's a huge coin. Yeah, it's a medallion. A medallion.
Have we seen it
from
with
his
that?
cloak. Yes, you have seen before.
Yeah,
he
that's
showed
what
it
he
to you
showed us.
before.
That's right.
He'll hold it up with both hands, and you start to see, those looking will start to see a little bit a shift in the air, about probably like about 5 feet off the ground, maybe 7. A little shift in the air as and I mean, you've seen this before with what you saw in the basement of the Fenton home. You see something start to open up, and it opens up a little bit wider and wider. Zephyr, your arms kind of shake a bit as you're holding the medallion, but that's normal I mean, you know how it works, and that feels like a normal thing. And so the rest of you just see this kind of like opening, and let's see here. Let me pull up my notes. And through this, you see kind of dark green mountains with very ominous, cloudy, dark skies, and kind of a green rolling pasture kind of going in between. And there's some kind of like debris in the air that's blowing about. That's what you can tell from the distance that you're standing. Well, let me just put in the working pieces here. Ren, Mags would immediately kind of like come to attention and tail wagging and bark at the opening portal, which, I mean, you haven't heard her bark that much at all, so it's a little strange. Immediately kind of come to attention. She won't leave your side per se, but she'll take a few steps forward and just kind of like almost like restraining herself from going forward. Let me just think here.
Do I see anything in the direction that I was watching at any way, given that my dog just barked really loudly as I was trying to stay hidden?
You look back and you don't see it, and you don't see anything, no. Those of you in the clearing, and Ren, if you're looking in the since you're looking elsewhere, those of you in the clearing, as this portal was opening, you see something really quickly fly out of it. It doesn't look like a spirit. I mean, it doesn't look as temporal as the spirits that you remember from the portal in the basement in the Fenton home. It looks like almost like a bird that flies out and immediately goes into the trees. I would say the trees of the forest that you just left. And yeah. Pyxrin. Okay. You'll see you'll kind of feel like on your shoulder, you'll feel this owl creature kind of flap. You'll feel it kind of flap its wings a bit as one of them probably like hits the side of your face. And it will kind of like step and almost like you'll feel a little bit of a tinge as like the claws. Like it's almost like a cat accident, tensing up. Not that it's trying to hurt you, but it's just tensing up a bit as it sees this, as all of you see this thing fly from the portal and into the woods that you just left from. Zephyr, are you?
The portal close.
Okay, all right. So you put down the medallion.
I'm glumped.
And the portal closes up. see it kind of slowly, just kind of like almost, and within about probably like a minute, it can't even tell that it was there. Zephyr, still where you're standing at, you would still hear that kind of whooshing sound.
Tegan will say to Zephyr, we know it's here. You can open it. We can come back to it, but we got to help Gerbil first.
Please go back to Dimglip. That wasn't the problem.
Ren, you'll notice Mags will, when the portal closes, she will kind of, come back to your leg and just kind of stand there, and you'll hear a little whimper from her.
I'll pat her head, and I'll just say, I know. Soon. I promise. Soon.
Gerbil will, after the portal closes, he'll let out a breath that he didn't know he was holding. Kind of just close his eyes, count to 10, and just turn around and go to where Ren was. Just not even look back.
All right.
Just...
Okay.
Go ahead.
I was going to say at that point, if Tegan sees we're heading towards Ren in the clearing, then the far end of the clearing, he'll drop the giant owl and pick up his horse.
Okay.
And get back on his horse.
Oh, I thought we left our horses. Or did we bring our horses?
No, you brought your horses with you.
Okay. That's fine.
All right. So that's, so is everyone kind of starting to move into the next portion of the forest?
Yeah, but Pyxrin's still kind of trying as best she can to look in the direction a little bit of where I'm just gonna say creature, went into the forest, kind of just eyeing it as best she can with an owl on top of her head. So it's...
Make a perception check for me, Pyxrin.
We just upset the entire ecosystem of this forest.
How do you know it's not already been upset?
23.
Oh, yeah, great.
There's a little bird on her head as the
I would
apex
say
predator.
as you're looking
Double the eyes.
as you're looking towards the forest that you came from, where that creature flew into, you and the party is just going wild behind you for some reason. You see kind of a flash of a longish brown wing, and almost like a shining eye kind of go from one tree branch to the next. And you'll still feel the owl on your shoulder kind of tense up a bit, but then settle down.
So I'll go and scratch the belly and Garnet. Do you like the name Garnet?
It'll kind of settle in again.
I'll take that as a yes. And she'll keep riding forward with everybody else.
All right.
I don't know who's in the back.
We can decide that. Let's go ahead and take our bio break early, since we're kind of starting into this part of the forest and into your next leg of the journey. We'll go ahead and take our bio break for those watching. We always take a 10-minute bio break. So hang tight, and we will be right back with some more fun Forsaken action. Sure, Forsaken. Yeah, anyways. See you soon. Jeremy Renner is playing D&D as a ranger rogue.
That's the guy that plays Hawkeye, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'll take that. I'll take that. My sister-in-law thinks I look, obviously not with the color of hair. She swears I look and act a lot like him. I don't see it.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, no offense to this. A little out in left field. But I
100%. I don't know.
I haven't watched a lot of it.
I'll take it. He's a good
Sure.
looking man.
Sure,
He's
yeah.
very articulate, but I don't know if that's me. I don't look like him at all. Bit more of a squarish face, so
All right. Okay. Yeah.
I've never understood where she sees it, but she says
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Eyebrows are a little bit similar. Okay. All right. So like eyebrows, yes. Your hair, like
obviously, yeah.
face shape is a little bit more but smile are similar, very similar. But it's less with how like the range of things
Give me a great artist explanation of how the artist Sure, Anderson was love it.
that Zach looked like Jeremy Renner. He was like, holy shit, Jeremy Renner's playing D&D. Which, hey, I'll take it. I will rename
Exactly,
Zach
I'll take
Jeremy Renner and be like, we have Jeremy Renner playing D&D, y'all.
I can
I'll get all the Patreons.
All the Patreon.
I can see it with the hair and stuff
And
now.
then he said that was it your sister? His sister swears he looks like Anderson.
Sister-in-law.
Sister-in-law is supposed to look like Anderson.
That one's
Well, okay, so pull up. I mean, I pulled up Anderson. There are similarities, and I was.
I think you need to screenshot the two pictures you're looking at and put it in chat. I believe you, but okay.
His eyebrows are similar. The big smile was I was comparing him to the face, lighting and stuff.
So funny because I've never looked at these photos. I'm the outsider of this community. I'm just a friend person.
Zach's
Smiling.
shit is not that.
No. So the shit's different. The face shape is different. But the eyebrows are the same. The hairline is different. His is and the mouth, if you look at a picture of I'm getting really into this. If you're looking at a picture of Anderson Cooper and smiling and compare it to a picture of Zach smiling, we're back.
I was gonna say, is everybody in chat hearing this conversation?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Right.
Because it's important, and I think that we all need to understand.
Zach, take off your headphones. I need to see the ears.
Oh, I didn't look at the ears.
hold. This is the full look.
I
Here,
didn't
okay?
look at the ears. Okay, I can't really tell. The pictures
Yeah,
I'm
the
seeing
ear-
immediately on Facebook.
Anderson
But I
Cooper's
couldn't hear
ears
you, so I
pop
have no
out
idea what's
more.
going on.
I mean, but if you look,
Anderson
there,
ears
there
pop out
are,
more,
but there
so I don't
are
know.
elements. There are elements. I'm not sure that I would be like, you
I
look
mean,
exactly like Anderson Cooper, but there
I
are
feel like
elements
everybody,
there.
like you could look at every face and be like,
I'm sorry, Jonathan.
There's elements.
Jonathan, you don't look anything like Anderson Cooper. I apologize, but
Yeah,
I did.
get on my level, Jonathan.
neither does Melissa, or Andrew, or Frank. I don't look like Anderson. I hope I don't look like Anderson Cooper.
You haven't given enough time. Like you gave enough time for Zach.
I'm so confused.
Well, originally,
I
apparently
lost my
someone
chapstick.
said Zach asked Mothman where it is.
Mothman!
Pretty much someone in chat
she
thought
didn't
that
hear
I
it.
looked like
I was
Jeremy
like, she didn't
Renner.
hear it.
Mothman!
And then I said my sister-in-law thinks that I look like Anderson Cooper. And that's what led us in this conversation.
Okay, let me close out all of
Gotcha.
these Google searches of Jeremy Renner,
You
Anderson
look like
Cooper.
you look like Jeremy Cooper.
You look like Zach.
I'll go do that TikTok filter and see if I
Mostly
become
Chad
Jeremy
did not
Renner.
hear because music is.
I
I'm
saw
sorry.
that today and I thought that was so cool. I was like, I'm gonna have to try that out.
Okay, friends, we are live. We are back.
Welcome to the Anderson Cooper Jeremy Renner podcast.
You know, we're
Evil
just
child.
trying
You
to
have
find
laughter in
find
the
the truth.
background.
That's all we're doing. We're truth seekers here at Madbird Streams.
Exactly.
Shapeshifter.
Truth
If
seekers.
you reach a certain Patreon level, we'll tell you if I really am Anderson Cooper or not.
And your guns.
Oh God. Okay. All right. Cool beans. Cool beans. Cool beans. All right. So y'all, let me pull up my notes. You started out back into the next leg of the forest.
I was gonna say, as I saw them coming, as I saw them coming my direction, I would have pushed forward just a little bit into the forest to see if I would see anything more of the
Okay.
thing.
Okay. All right. Make and anyone who, as soon as you start, well, I say pushing forward, Ren, go ahead and make another fresh perception check for me, please.
16.
Okay. No, you don't. Even like keeping an eye out on the area that you last saw the kind of puff of smoke and the movement from, which is about 20 feet from you currently, I would say. You don't see any more movement over there.
Okay, then I'll backtrack to the group.
Okay. All right. So,
I guess before I do that, would I
Sure.
as I'm backtracking, if I'm around anywhere where I would have seen the movement, like as I push forward,
yes.
do I see any tracks or anything as I'm coming back?
Since that's more of a make a survival check for me to check for this.
Oh, now I gotta
tracks,
like
please.
turn my iPad on to see my numbers. Actually, no, I think I know my survival one. I'll double check for safety.
Sure,
I think
that's
it's a 24, but
That's fine.
sorry, 23.
Okay. Yeah, so as you're looking back to where like that movement first started and you're backtracking, you would notice a couple of human-sized footprints. It seems like almost like running. So you'll see one, maybe like 3 feet, 2.5 feet from that. As if taking 3 large steps. And then I'll say that you will kind of, as you're walking back, you'll see the same thing about 10, 15 feet away. Maybe about 15 feet away. So it almost seems like either, it leaped, from like it took a couple of like long strides and then leaped.
Yep.
Or, I don't know, swung from a branch. Like your mind could go wild with what you would think would have, it could have gotten from, gapped that 15 feet in that time.
And when I saw running, it was like movement, puff of smoke, movements, puff of smoke, right?
Yes, correct.
Got it.
And that's what Tegan saw as well.
Got it. Okay. Well, with that, I'll start heading back to the group.
Okay, cool.
And when I get there, I'll or I guess as I walk with my pendant, I'll explain what I saw.
Okay. All right. Okay. Your pendants do kind of get a little bit less warm as you get a little bit away from the statue. Yeah. And of course, John and Lyric are following. So walking through, I would say looking ahead, you would probably be able to tell that you might have maybe an not very long walking in this forest, like maybe like 45 minutes, because it looks like it ends pretty quickly ahead, before it seems like it goes off kind of into a clearing, but you also see, what's kind of hard to see from here, I would say. But yeah, so you'll be walking through this forest for about another like 45 minutes to an hour. Who wants to, we probably need like one person doing one thing. So who wants to navigate through the forest and who wants to keep out watch? So
I'll navigate still.
You'll be navigating, and who wants to do a perception check? Okay.
Keegan.
All right. So roll those perception check and survival. Yes. And you're still in forest, Ren, because I think that's your terrain.
Yep,
correct?
18.
Okay.
23.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, you're able to, I mean, it's not that difficult, Ren, but you're able to navigate through the forest. Tegan, even, and I would say since you saw it before too, like even keeping an eye out for that, like, and you don't see anything. Well, let me just double check here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So as you get out of this this forested area and kind of come out, and it seems like more of a mountainous terrain that's coming up. John will kind of like sigh and like, yeah, kind of look up at the sky. I think we might have maybe another day and a half.
Did we get to the guy?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Right now, I would say it's probably getting around, probably like 4 or 5. Seeing as you didn't get off till 10, you traveled about a quarter of a day. So yeah, probably about 4 in the afternoon, early evening.
Would because we've been walking like a good chunk now, the flash of light, me and Pyxrin saw there and watch, would that have was it easy? Could I have told how far away that flash of light was, or is it too like bounced off the like clouds kind of thing?
Like the
light.
Let me retcon a bit.
Okay.
Gerbil and Pyxrin, you're the ones that saw the light on your watch. You would have saw that because like it seemed like it was coming from like ahead on your path when you were at the campsite. You would have seen possibly a similar flash. You haven't seen anything like it since. Possibly a similar flash when Zephyr opened the portal.
Okay.
So, traveling through the mountains, y'all. All right. So you have a few small hills at first that kind of lead up, and you can kind of see them kind of like building up to a larger mountain in the distance. And the smaller hills, it's you start getting some like different kinds of greenery as you start getting more into this mountainous area. It gets more kind of like pine trees, and and so you do start to kind of get under some more like smaller canopies of trees, but it's more kind of the pine variety and the different variety of trees than you saw a bit ago. In the other two forests. So as you're starting out in this kind of hilly mountainous area, Are we keeping the same perception and navigation peeps, or?
Dribble can lead for a while.
Okay.
Also, have we seen any spider webs on this side of the clearing?
Everyone make perception checks.
16.
Natural 20
18.
for 22.
What did you get, Zephyr? You're
You're on
muted.
mute.
Andrew, come back.
18.
Okay. Yeah. So I would say that y'all probably would have seen, retcon a bit back to the forest, you would have seen a little bit of spider webs there. And then starting into this mountainous region, it's a little bit harder to see them because you're not like under the you don't have like the shadows from the trees. It's more kind of direct sunlight, even though, and then the sun is also on its way down, but not set yet. You might see something here and there that looks kind of like spider webby, but not as much as you saw back in the forest, or that you could see back in the forest. You do see some kind of remnants of something as you're continuing to travel in this direction. So, Gerbil, are you saying that you're wanting to navigate through this area?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's survival check, right?
Yes.
All right.
And whoever's wanting to keep an eye out for, you can roll perception check.
I'll help keep an eye out.
Okay.
19.
All right. Yeah.
8 for perception.
Okay.
24.
Your owl is just so adorable, Pyxrin. Could you roll another animal handling check for me, please?
$11.
Okay. Yeah, it seems, to get a little uncomfortable here and there, kind of like with the swaying of, the jostling of the horse. But seems kind of content. It does seem to get a little bit more verbal, as you're starting into this hill area. So it does occasionally occasionally like squeak into your ear or give a squawk here and there. Every little bit, like it will kind of seem like its attention is caught somewhere, like it sees something, and it will kind of kind of prance back and forth on your shoulder, but then it will kind of settle back. Maybe a couple times as you've been traveling, it would have maybe left your shoulder, but would have came back, either to spread its, to kind of stretch its wings, or maybe to check out something that it saw moving, like a rodent or a smaller animal. I would even say that one time you even see it catch like a mouse, as you're starting to walk, as you're starting to trot in this more, starting towards the mountainous area. It'll kind of fly off your shoulder, catch a mouse. You'll see it kind of like eat it, a bit, only kind of tear it apart on the ground, and then come back with maybe like a piece of it in its mouth and continue to kind of like just gnaw down on it. All right. So, yeah, so Gerbil is able to navigate you through some of these hills. It does start to get, until it would start to get evening time. Tegan, you were rolling perception?
Oh, yeah, sorry. 13.
Okay. All right. Yes. You. I would say with your background, I'm going to send you a message, Tegan. Otherwise than what I'm sending you, it seems okay. You haven't seen any dangers. You have seen a few animals here and there.
Make sure to check out our Patreon as well, everyone. Just type in
Hey, it's a new month. New movie night
new
coming up.
movie night, new other perks.
Yeah. Steph's been drawing really
Okay.
nice chibi art of characters.
Yes, I have. And I would say, let me just see what kind of animals you would see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
You guys can go onto our Discord and go type into the Mad Art with Steph. Request chibi art of Garnet the cat owl.
So, you don't write down that name. Actually, thank you, Jonathan.
It was Garnet, like the stone, right?
Yeah.
That's my birthstone.
So, Tegan, you would have seen, other than what I sent you, you would have seen maybe like, because this hill area is pretty open. I mean, you have some trees here and there, but besides that, you have the mountain ahead of you. The sides, though, are pretty open. You have some more hills. You can kind of tell, and I would say most you would be able to kind of tell that you're kind of getting a little bit higher in elevation as you've been traveling, and especially going up these, going over these hills, that it seems like it's gradually sloping up. So you're starting to see more of the sky. You would see, Tegan, maybe a couple, like a bear family in the distance, about a few hours in, and really nothing else until the sun starts going down. So do the group of you want to stop and camp, or do you want to keep going?
Did I get similar stuff from my perception check when I was keeping an eye out as well?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What did you roll again?
A 24.
Yeah. You would have saw the bear family along with Tegan.
But I don't get cool secret messages or anything.
You would get this as well.
Oh yeah.
And I would say that it would apply to you.
Okay, good.
With your background. Okay. Yeah. So it starts getting dark. Sun starts setting. It gets a little bit chillier, and you have noticed that the temperature has dropped just a little bit as you've been traveling in this area. Probably due to a little bit to the elevation, a little bit more of a breeze that kind of hits you. Yeah. So are we bedding down for the night, or what are we doing? What are we doing, friends? Or you can continue on.
What do we want to do, everyone?
I mean,
I'll see you in the morning.
I would say John and Larry could probably be like, it's been a bit of a day. I think I'm in a bit of a night last night. I think camping down would probably be a good idea. And Lyric will kind of yawn. Oh, I agree.
All right,
okay.
let's make camp.
Okay. So you're making camp in like a clearing, or are you kind of staying more towards the little patches of trees that you're finding?
I would tell everybody that we should probably try and be more near in the trees and covered.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go for a little bit of
All
cover.
right. So you do have some coniferous trees that are definitely like almost to the ground, but you also have some that you can camp under that are a little bit taller. Yeah, so we'll say that y'all camp down for the night. Is there anything that you want to do before starting your watches? Okay. All right, so who wants to take the first, second, and third watch?
I'll take the first watch.
Okay.
I'll take second.
Okay. Andrew wants to... Zephyr wants to take 3. Okay.
If Zephyr's taking third, Gerbil
Yes.
will help taking it second.
Okay. You don't want to be with Zephyr? Please.
Nope. Sleepy Gerbil, don't got time for Zephyr.
All right. So that makes Zephyr on third, Tegan and Gerbil on second, Ren on first. Pyxrin, are you helping out with the watch or just sleeping?
I'm gonna cuddle up with my owl.
Okay.
Who's
All
on
right.
fourth?
Okay. Make an animal handling check for me, Pyxrin.
Please don't eat me in my sleep.
Oh,
One-eyed
really?
Pyxrin
I
is
was
what we
doing
used
so
to call
good
her.
with this dice, and now it's I got a 4.
Okay. All right.
It's gonna be like how Nick Fury got his eye
I
patch.
I was gonna say it's gonna peck out her eye while she's.
Arg.
How'd you
So-
lose your eye? I was the last person I ever trusted.
So, Pyxrin,
I ain't trust no bird.
you kind of try to like take the owl to the bedroll with you and try to like cuddle up with it, but it squeezes out and kind of hops around for a bit and flies up to a tree above you. It doesn't seem to be flying off, at least before falling asleep, but it is staying in the tree. It seems like that it's more comfortable there.
Okay, tries to cuddle without cat but fails.
Yeah. You might,
Flew.
I would say, kind of
Goes
going
into
forward a
the
bit,
tree.
you probably would hear it kind of like, once you go to sleep, you would probably be woken up a couple of times with it, like, making some cawing noises up in the tree. And maybe even wake up one time with it being gone. But then you wake up again and it's back in the tree, it seems. And it seems like that it's kind of like puffed out and like sleeping.
What about?
So going back to watches, rewinding a bit. So first watch.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and make a perception check.
I kind of want to also, along with my perception check,
Sure.
because we probably went a little bit into the trees. I want to work a little bit towards the clear edge of it with the clearing.
Okay. Sure.
And with my bedroll and stuff, I was going to take it with me,
Okay.
and I'm going to set it up like I made a camp at the edge of the clearing.
Okay.
But then I'm going to go in and hide and kind of just watch there along with watching everywhere else.
Okay. All right. Saying a little trap. Got it.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
Perception, so that's a 12. Wait,
Okay.
is that right? Let me double check.
All right.
Yeah, 12.
Okay. Yes. You keep an eye out on the general area as well as on the bedroll that you set up on the outskirts of the tree line. You don't see anything moving towards that though. You don't see anything bothering that or checking it out. Really, the only thing that you notice during the night is probably you'll see a bear pass by in the distance. And yeah, okay. And that's it.
Okay. I'll go back to camp.
Okay.
I'm going to leave my bedroll and everything where it was.
Okay.
And I'll wake up Tegan and Gerbil.
Okay.
And in the process, I'll tell Tegan that I've set up the bedroll over there and kind of just say, all day I had a feeling that something was following us, and I can't shake it. So I set up somewhat of a camp to see if they check that out, but just FYI. And then I'll go find a patch of ground that looks comfortable enough and lie down with Max.
You just told Tegan that? You didn't tell Gerbil that?
Oh, I told both of
I
you.
told both of you.
Oh, okay. I thought you just said Tegan.
But
So
I
was
will
just
say
like,
I was probably talking just directly to Tegan the whole time, but enough to where you could hear it.
fine. Whatever.
Turbo will remember this.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe not. He's still Sleepy Gerbil.
All right. So
Sleepy Gerbil may remember this. Who
Tegan
knows?
and Gerbil, is there anything that you want to? You can go make your perception checks, and if there's anything that you want to roleplay out or do during this time, feel free.
Yeah, Tegan would just tell Gerbil that he had the same kind of sense that there was maybe something going on behind us, just to keep an extra sharp watch. And roll the 19 for perception.
15
All right.
for Durbo.
Yeah. Are you keeping an eye out on this bedroll, Tegan?
Yeah.
Dribble. Okay. Right. Okay. I would say that, yeah, at this time of night, I mean, other than hearing, like, just woodland creatures around, you might hear, a hawk kind of screech overhead. Maybe hear Pyxrin's, owl creature. And I would say probably around this time of night is when you would see it fly off from the branch and probably be gone for like a half hour before you see it come back and perch on the tree above her bedroll.
It'd probably be during this time, Dribble, like while we're doing our rounds, Dribble just kind of go digging. So that owl thing, that's new, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because if we went through all the shit we've done on floating cities and you could have just flown off those, I would have been. I would have had some words. But so how'd you how?
I'm starting to study and pick up the ways of Druidism. I was fascinated by what I saw when we earlier met with the Pact of the Moon way back when.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
And you just, wow,
As you
you
progress,
did think to tell anybody? Just, give us a heads up, We're all a bit jumpy. We were just attacked.
I apologize if I startled you.
I think, yeah, sure. Yeah, smug. Let's just look at his smug face. All right.
All right. Okay. Yeah, that's
Awkwardly walk off after that.
yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, you don't really notice anything else tonight. Yeah. So your watch is over. You wake Zephyr.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Zephyr, you're woken up for your next watch.
Actually, if it's just going to be Zephyr,
Sure.
and since I already got my first, I was asleep, meditating for the first watch. I will stay up with Zephyr as well.
Okay. All right. All right. So Zephyr and Tegan, make your perception rolls, please.
14.
Okay.
23.
Okay. Also, yeah. Zephyr, make a wisdom saving throw for me, please.
Dirty 20.
Oh. Okay. All right. No, that's not for you. That's for something else. Yeah. You feel okay. You feel okay. I would say that you're probably a little bit trepidatious after y'all called forth the spirits, just a little over 24 hours ago, or at least 3 of them from the sword. But it seems to be a little quiet. Yeah. I would say that when you had drew it at the statue earlier the day before, you probably would have heard a little bit of whispering, but that's it. As far as seeing things go, Tegan, you still have that feeling that I messaged you about before. It started off last watch a little bit, but it's gotten a little bit worse. You just can't shake it. You don't see anything. But, yeah, it's just weird. Okay.
All right. Yeah, if I don't see anything, I don't see anything.
Yeah. Yeah, don't see anything messing with Ren's setup, unfortunately. You'll kind of hear, as it starts getting more morning, you'll start hearing the owlcat kind of squawk a bit more. Maybe fly up and around the camping area a couple of times, and then fly back to the tree above Pyxrin's bedroll. But other than that, it's fine.
All right.
I'll wake up and go to check on Tegan. Did anything mess with my stuff? Did you see anything?
No, but I still got. I think I have the same feeling that you do. That something's out there, but I don't see anything. It's unnerving a little bit.
Okay. And I'll go clean up my stuff.
All right. So everyone gets up. Yeah. I'd say some of you going around and try to gather stuff. Gathering things is a little bit more difficult today because you're not quite in such a lush forest setting. You'd probably be able to find, some smaller rodents for food. But even those are a little thin because you have seen some hawks in the area. And you also have an owlcat that probably has picked off a couple during the night.
Sure would love some leftover rabbit right about now.
I would say you'd be able to find some berries, some smaller items. So not quite the feast that you would have the day before. All right. So starting off into what will probably be another day of a full day of traveling in the mountains. You would, a quick little summary is that you would, you've been traveling through kind of like this smaller hilled section. You are seeing that you're getting more into a more kind of steeper mountainous section. Go ahead and those of you who are going to be taking navigation for survival checks, and those of you who are going to be looking out with perception checks.
Gerbil's doing survival because I've now realized Gerbil's survival is much better than perception. So
22 for perception.
Okay.
30-20 for perception.
Okay.
And because life hates me, and I just said that, I rolled a natural 1.
13.
Okay. Go ahead.
So 6 with a natural
Okay.
1. So.
Tegan, what did you get?
19 for perception.
19 for perception. And what were you rolling for, Zephyr? Perception as well?
Perception. Yeah.
So, Gerbil, you were the only one rolling for navigation?
I didn't know.
And what did you roll?
I thought Rin did navigation too.
Oh, Rin, did you do navigation?
I'm not
and
strong with the
perception?
mountains. No, I was doing perception.
Oh.
Okay. All right. That's fine. Gerbil was leading you.
We just now traveled for 3 days in the mountains.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
40
All right.
years, I believe.
So-
Did John help? John knew we were day out.
I'm sure
Could
they know
John
what
have
they're doing.
helped?
Well, I mean, John and Larrick do not have like, I will roll, but he doesn't have any advantages to or a lot of pluses to navigating. Yeah, I mean, he brought it up a little bit. Larrick is definitely not the navigator. John would be more the navigator, and he rolled a 12, so still a little low. So I would say with all of your perceptions, and Gerbil is trying his best with John's help, they're kind of, looking out and just trying to figure out which way is south and, pointing to different directions. John is kind of like, he's helping you, but also he's the type of person that's like, tell you, like, will see something and tell you a story about that,
Oh,
like,
gosh.
like,
Yeah.
over there, back in, this place that I used to
Right.
live in,
Mm-hmm.
or that I visited, like,
Right.
this happened, and
Mhm.
it looked exactly like that.
I'm a
And,
Oh, look at that.
or, yeah, just all like different stories to where by the end of the day you're just like, oh man, and that's
I
probably
have suffered a
actually
point of exhaustion.
that's probably actually helping your navigation to go down a little bit, because
Okay.
he's distracting you, not purposefully, but that's just how he is. I would say that Lyric probably stays like a little bit behind with John trying to navigate. He'd probably try to strike up conversations with Pyxrin. I would say he'd feel comfortable with, maybe as well with Ren. But yeah, and he'd probably kind of and Pyxrin getting up in the morning, and heading off. The cat owl does get back onto your shoulder as you start getting onto your horse and start trotting off. And it stays there.
Yay!
Yay. Scritch. Yeah, and it definitely seems a little bit more used to you today. Okay. So, the rest of you with your perception checks, you did very well. You would see, as you saw the bears the day before, you would see towards the first half of the day, you would see some sheep here and there in the mountains, in little flocks, some wild sheep. You would also see like the hawks and the eagles flying above. Pyxrin, as they do that, like sometimes a hawk will fly up, a hawk or eagle will fly above you, and the cat owl will screech and do the little step thing. Like it's getting a little agitated, maybe like hop up on your head and hop back on your shoulder and do that a few times. As these things kind of fly over, and you'll hear like the hawk screech back at it. To which the little owl cat kind of like goes back onto your shoulder and kind of hunkers down. You would also about halfway through the day, a little bit after halfway through, I would say y'all probably stop and break a couple of times. The mountains are getting a little bit more steeper, a little bit less greener as well. You do have little patches of more coniferous trees and moss, but nothing as lush as what you had the previous day or even earlier in the day when you first started out. A little bit after halfway through the day, I would say after your second break, and you start back in this going south, you would start to see too many windows. That's what you see. You would start to see about probably those with and I think everyone got 15 or higher, would start to see about 30 feet from the direction that you're traveling as you're kind of looking off. You see the remains of a campfire, and you also see kind of a makeshift meat rack that is currently empty, or at least from this distance it seems like it's empty. You see a few sticks on the ground, but you don't see anything, you don't see any sort of person or anything occupying that space other than just these remains of what most you'd probably assume is a campsite.
I'm gonna split off real quick and run over there with Mags just to check it out.
Sure. You go there with Mags. Are you looking for something in particular, or just...
I'm just looking to see if there's anything that was left, just anything, like a small item or something that you couldn't see from far away, but when you get closer, you kind of find it. All right,
make an investigation check for me, please.
Or even tracks leading in certain directions or whichever way they went.
Okay.
What was the role you said? Perception?
Make an investigation check for me to see if there's any little items, and then I'll probably ask for a survival check too for tracks.
Yeah. Investigation.
Did
18.
Our pendant?
Did your pendants? Did they get warmer?
Yeah, or did they get cooler after we left the forest? Or
I would say at this point in the day and the second day of travel, they've mostly felt there's a little tinge of warmth there, but like it's nothing alarming and it's nothing to be that's really that noticeable. What was your role for the investigation, Ren?
18.
Okay. You would. I didn't start the music back up. Shame on me. You would have. As you got closer to this, to this campsite, that you can definitely tell that's what it is as you get closer to it. Again, it has what remains of what looks like a campfire. That kind of. Recognizable kind of like a meat rock, like something, with hunting. There's also like a sharpened stick that's kind of leaning against this kind of like put together stick rack that's been like stuck in the ground. You would also see there are a couple of like huge rocks that are by the remains of the campfire. Huge stones. I say huge, but to you especially, but probably
big to me.
2 feet in width. And, kind of looking around, I would say with your background, you'd probably notice that it doesn't seem like that they belong, like they're a little bit wobbly, so it seems like they've almost been picked up and put there. Along with like a small log that's kind of about 10 feet away, about 5 feet away from the campfire. As if like a little bench to sit on. Close to those, you would see some like sharpened rocks that are almost like arrowheads. That a couple of them have been left by. If you pick one up, it has like a small imperfection in it to where it's kind of cracked a bit. So maybe someone just kind of discarded it because it wasn't useful. You would also see like a bit of twine and stuff around that same area too. I would say you'd also around the campfire see some bits of skin from possibly animals. That are possibly cooked, you would imagine cooked on the campfire or whatever.
Yep.
And that's it.
Any spider webbish looking stuff or tracks leading in a certain direction?
You don't. I would say with the perception with the investigation check, you don't see any spider webs, or any remnants of that. Y'all have seen them here and there in the path you've been going, but not over here. Go ahead and make a survival check to see about the footprints. Or
no,
the
natural
whatever.
1.
Oh man, yeah. You look around.
Which makes it
still something.
Well, it's still a natural 1, but
sure.
Makes it a 10 altogether.
Okay. Well, yeah, you look around and you do see some
these tracks. Oh, those are my own.
I will say, yeah, you see your own tracks, but I will say that you would see a couple specifically around the campfire area, that are more kind of in like this kind of dirt and maybe like in a little bit of like a mud, that looks like some water got on there, maybe from putting the campfire out. One's a little hard to make out. The other one, the other footprint, definitely seems like a foot. Like you see, it doesn't look like it's a boot or any kind of shoed foot. And it looks, kind of large. Possibly
like large, obviously bigger than mine, but bigger than
probably about like you're looking at, I would say that you probably look at this and then look kind of like at the party to kind of like get like a nice size comparison of their feet compared to this one. Gerbil would probably have the biggest feet over there. I would say this is probably about a couple of maybe about a half of a foot larger than gerbils. So you're looking at probably like maybe like close to a foot and maybe like 4 inches probably as far as length goes.
I'll ride back to the group.
Okay.
And tell them what I saw. Some big boys or girls were there. Or really small people with really, really big feet. I don't judge by size,
Not a sizist.
Interesting.
That's all I got.
And this is like what time of day are we like?
This is a little bit after halfway, so you're
sort of
probably
noonish.
probably about 1 o'clock probably.
All right. Well, let's
All right, so
keep
continuing
moving on.
on. Okay. All right, so everyone, Rain gets back. You get, I guess, back on mags. You've been writing mags, right?
Yep.
Get back on mags. Start back into the path that you were going. Are we keeping the same traveling order?
I'll help
navigation?
with navigation
Yeah,
now.
Okay.
Gerbil's well, correction. Gerbil will help Rim because
Okay.
Gerbil just needs to just stop after all the time with John. He just needs to
Right, he needs a break.
So
Sure.
27 for survival.
Okay.
that's better.
All right, and who's keeping out perception?
take a perception.
Okay.
25,
13.
natural 20.
10.
Okay. And you got a 15, Pyxrin?
13.
13, okay. Yeah, I would say with all of those together and with you said 25?
Yeah, natural 20.
Okay. Okay, so navigation-wise, for Rin and Gerbil, and I would say John probably still tries to help. Let's see,
It would have been a
how does he
30
do?
except for John's help. Brought
Oh,
it down to
he
37.
actually, I mean, he seems a little bit more focused now. He seems a little bit it's getting towards the end of the day, and so he's kind of just wanting to get somewhere. Not quite as
got it out of his system.
Right. He got it out of his system with you, Gerbil. And I would say probably even Lyric will kind of right up to beside John to, and they'll kind of have a couple of discussions, which seems to kind of chill him out a bit. Navigation wise, I will say you start to it definitely starts to get a little bit more difficult for your horses towards the end of the day. You still have, as you're looking up, you can see that this kind of crests up to the top of this huge mountain in front of you. You might have, and John, I think, would probably kind of hypothesize this with you of you might have another close to a half day of travel than, before you get to the top of that, to get to the top of that mountain. It is going to be, he does kind of help you realize that it's going to be more difficult for your horses getting to the top. So you would probably have to, the next morning, because as I said, this is towards the end of the day, so it's about time to start camping down anyways. You would probably want to start guiding, walking with them up the mountain. I would say with his experience, he would be aware of that. But yeah, you're able to navigate through the rest, up to this point, until it gets nighttime. For those keeping an eye out, you would. Okay. All right. Around 5 o'clock, so about halfway through the second part of your travel, you would see a large stone cave to the left, about 50 feet away. As you said, you're starting to get more into kind of, away from the smaller hills and more kind of getting to the base of this mountain. And this is kind of it's kind of going into the mountain, but again, it's about 50 feet away from you to the left. And you would approach that around 5 or 6, about 6 o'clock probably. So it's starting to get dark, but not dark. So you still have possibly another couple of hours of travel ahead of you. We'll say it's at 5. Then you'll have another couple of hours of travel ahead of you. You would also notice, again, the eagles flying ahead, to which the cat owl responds to. Make an animal handling check for me, Pyxrin, since you're halfway through the day. Yeah, I'd say that's That's it. You would see some, like, as you're traveling, you would see some, like, especially towards the beginning, like, right after you pass that camp area, you would have seen some, like, larger placed stones out of place here and there, kind of off here and off there, along with the carcass of a couple of dead rabbits. But besides that, and the stone cave that you see around 5 o'clock, that's it. You still have that feeling, Tegan, but it's not as... It seems to have died down a bit. You're not sure if it's just you're getting away from the area where you saw, whatever it was in the forest, and maybe you're just calming down. But you don't really feel that that presence. So... So we'll say that you're
Videos may have been affected.
we'll say that you're at the point where you saw
What just happened?
saw the stone, the cave around 5. Is there anything that you want to do there? Anything you want to do while traveling today, before you get to your before you get to the space where you're going to camp down for the night at the very base, like before it starts getting really steep?
My butt hurts.
If
And I rolled a 17 for animal handling.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, just 1 second, Tegan. The cat owl, as we're Garnet. I'm trying to remember her name. Garnet will. Yeah. I mean, it would have flew off a couple of times, but would have came back to you in about a 5-minute time period.
Mm-hmm.
You would assume probably at this point that it's hunting and getting some food for itself. And Tegan, what were you saying?
As we come upon the cave,
Yes, sir.
I'll ask the group to hold up for a second. Ask them if they want to investigate or move on.
I need for clarification.
Is there any? Do we see any?
Maybe there's a ghost wife trapped in there.
I'm
Needs help.
okay with. I'm okay with maybe. Let's get a little closer, see if we can see any tracks around the entrance of the cave. But I mean,
I might have a way to check out the cave a little bit more stealthily.
Giant owl.
I don't think a giant owl can fit.
No, it won't be a giant hat. It will be, and if you're willing to try, I can turn into a swarm of bats.
Goodness.
Sure.
Like more than
A swarm,
one.
Like multiple bats?
like multiple bats. Medium swarm of tiny bats.
I mean, sounds cool.
And they have blind sight, so they can see in the cave, no problem.
I say go for it.
All right.
Worst case scenario, you die.
Worst case scenario, I drop to 0 and come back as Deacon.
Well,
This true?
well,
Yes, Gerbil?
first let's just let's see if there's any tracks or anything leading out or inside the cave. Just around the entrance, because I feel like if that could tell us a lot.
You'd be able to figure that out as a bat, he's saying. So we don't
I'm
have
just
to
saying-
get really close, but
But
We could do both. We could check out the entrance.
so I'm just saying, let's just be a little bit cautious before we just turn into bats and fly in there.
well, we're not turning into bats. He's just turning.
Yes, I know. So,
Sure. I'll go look closer to the cave to see if I see any tracks.
Okay.
I will help. And by help, I mean give him advantage. I'm afraid to roll
Is that
anymore.
what you're doing? That's investigation, right? Or survival?
Oh, sorry, I was just catching up on messages. Yes. What are you trying to look for, Ren? I'm sorry.
Tracks or anything for the cave if something's in there or coming out of there or whatever.
Okay. That would be survival for tracks.
26.
Okay. Yes. So, are you sneaking up on the cave stealthily, or are you just walking up to it?
I'm not trying to get like super close to the cave. Just kind of.
How close are you getting?
I don't know. Just not close enough to die.
That says a lot. Thanks.
I would say. How far away? We're having this conversation. How far away from the cave?
You're having this conversation. I think I said maybe 50 feet away from you, if I remember correctly.
I would probably get within 20 feet of the cave.
Okay, getting within 20 feet of the cave. And what was your
semi-stealthily?
What was your survival roll?
It was a 20. It was a 17 plus 9, 26.
Okay. I would say that getting within 20 feet of the cave, I won't even make you roll a stealth check. You would you wouldn't see anything coming from like the direction where you came from the group. But as you get to that 20-foot mark, you would kind of notice about 5 feet from you a set of pretty large tracks.
Similar to what was at the campsite?
Bigger.
But similar style, like barefoot.
Barefoot.
No shoes.
Yes. But this is probably like twice the size of
Oh my goodness.
the footprint that you found at the other site. You do see, as you get closer to the opening of this cave, you see a pile of stones and branches that have been like piled up outside to the edge of the opening. I would say that you'd probably also see a more right outside the cave. You would see a probably like draped over a rock, a pelt. That I would say probably about, yeah, you would probably, it looks brownish. You've seen bears in this, in the area a bit ago, so, or the day before, so, you would see a pelt kind of laid out over a rock. But that's all that you would notice at the mouth of this cave.
Okay. I'll walk back to everybody else and
Okay.
kind of just say some giants or something. And that, well, I mean, you're all giants to me, but like really, really big things, I think, live in there. There was like pelts laid out, and looked like trees, bush branches set up in a way. Maybe we can go check it out, but there's gonna be some big ins in there.
I think we should
I mean,
not mess with. Yeah, not mess with a giant.
I don't think they're part of. Yeah, they're just living their lives. I think we can let them be.
but good to know they're there.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so we'll give that cave a wide berth.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. All right. So y'all kind of keep on going in your direction. And you have another couple of hours before you get to that point to where John is like, okay, it's going to get a little bit steeper from here. This is probably a good place to camp for the night.
You've said that it's been getting more difficult for the horses. Has it been equally getting more difficult for Mags, or because she's a wolf, is she kind of handling it?
I would say like it's starting to get up to this point. Like it's been okay. The past couple of hours, like from 5 to 7, it starts. You can tell that it's just becoming a little bit steeper and a little bit. She seems to be getting a little bit more winded, especially with you riding her.
Gotcha.
So by the time you get to where John's proposing to camp, she'd be definitely like, as soon as you like settle down, she would just immediately kind of fall asleep.
Okay.
So are we camping down here? John asking. Larry's probably like already getting like a tent out.
Yeah, sure.
Sounds great.
Okay. I would say that John would have taken you. Like, there are still, like, some very small patches of trees. Like, a small patch of, like, maybe 10 trees together with some mossy, as your ground is getting less dirt and more rock. Yeah. Yeah. So, start setting up camp. Is there anything you want to do at the camp before settling down for the night? All right. So, who wants to take watches tonight?
I'll take third watch.
Okay.
I'll take first
Sure.
watch.
Okay.
I'll take
Double.
second watch.
Okay.
Okay, the gerbil. Is there a fourth watch, or is there?
No,
more
you
than
probably
that?
just have
Everybody wants to
to-
be by themselves.
You just have to. And Tegan, you were first watch, right?
Okay. Gerbil.
pick your poison.
I know, right?
Who do you want to buddy up with, Gerbil?
Gerbil will do third watch, or
Yeah, you
Pyxrin.
will.
Or wait, no, second watch.
Third watch,
Pyxrin.
best watch. Oh.
Wow.
Oh,
I would
What
say
is it?
that Tegan, since you
Well, he's offended because Tegan, he's spent enough time with Tegan, and Red, and last time last watch he was all buddy with Tegan. Didn't tell Gerbil, didn't look at Gerbil.
I did tell you. You were there by osmosis.
But you physically said you didn't look at it. Anyways, he's
wow.
going to the picture.
oh my gosh.
He's shuffling it up.
I would say that Zephyr would probably take first watch with Tegan. And Rin, you also have don't forget you have Mags there to help you too. With,
Yeah,
with
yeah,
your
yeah, I'm not-
watch.
I'm not worried.
All right.
Stab through the heart.
So, Pyxrin, as you're settling down for the night, are you trying to snuggle with the owl again, or are you letting it just kind of do its thing?
Yeah. She's gonna try to snuggle with the owl again.
Make an animal handling check,
This
please.
is like a whole new experience for her to have a creature she's never she's used to something
the
else.
best.
So,
It's the best
yeah,
welcome club.
it's snuggles. Why can't it? Yeah, it's not going to snuggle with me. It's a 5.
Okay,
Please
well,
don't claw my eyes out.
all right. So Pyxrin, you're feeling a little you want to snuggle with it, but you're also feeling a little trepidatious and probably are a little bit clumsy. However, the owl, will actually kind of seem to kind of not cuddle up with you, but will kind of seem to kind of fluff up right there next to the head of your bedroll.
Ooh. Scritch, scritch, scritch.
So and as you scritch it, and it'll kind of edge closer to you, and just kind of cuddle up. However, in the middle of the night, there are a couple of times that night definitely that you'll feel it take off right beside your head, which probably scares the
flutter
shit
of
out
the
of you.
wings.
You're just whoa, and as it just flies off, and then you feel it kind of it'll kind of land a few feet from you, and then kind of but there are a couple
End up,
times to where it just flies off to catch something it sees in the night, like a rodent or something, right
lands on
beside
my
your head.
or my face
Yeah,
with
yeah,
a
yeah.
mouse.
Yeah, and you'll hear it nomming something right beside your ear a couple of times.
This is what having kids is like.
Yes,
Case in point.
yes, it
Oh, what's happened?
is. What's happening? Okay, so Pyxrin has her owl issues. All right, so first watch. I'm looking around I don't know. First watch is Zephyr and Tegan. Go ahead and roll your perception checks. Or Tegan, you roll your perception check. I'll roll for Zephyr.
Okay.
Oh, that was a 5. I don't know his pluses, but I'm guessing no more than a 10, maybe.
Oh, he has a big. Actually, I can look.
Why don't
Now-
you tell me your roll, Tegan? What did you roll?
15.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I mean, I'll say that I will just put it about the same.
I'll tell you in a second, because now we can, with D&D Beyond, we can look at, except his thing isn't there. I don't see it. Zephyr isn't there. Damn. Okay, I can't see it.
Okay, so I mean, but we'll say it's about 15.
Oh,
I
it's
wouldn't
6.
say-
It's a +6.
Okay, yeah. So the two of you are in watch. Yeah, I would say that a couple of times, like you do, towards the end of your watch, you would see, you would see the cat owl, you would see Garnet kind of like fly off, and like Pyxrin probably like, ah! And then like start going back to sleep. And then it will kind of fly back and like, be like gnawing on something, and then just kind of like, nuzzle back up to you near her head.
I'm just imagining when she wakes up, she's gonna have like fur and feathers and like little bits of like some creature in her hair. It's all
Yeah.
What did I do in my sleep?
Yeah, other than that, other than like, your typical like, woodland creatures you hear scurrying or like the distant call of something, you don't hear anything or see anything.
Okay.
All right, so next watch, which is Pyxrin and Gerbil. So Pyxrin, as you get up and go over, I would say that the Garnet seems pretty comfortable where it's at, so it will just kind of stay there by your bedroll. Maybe even like kind of get where your head was, like, and just kind of like, since it's warm there. And and just a note, like it is, since you're getting kind of more into this height, it is getting chillier, and there is definitely like a breeze, especially at nighttime. So kind of with a chill in it. So Pyxrin and Gerbil, go ahead and make your perception checks, and if there's anything else that you want to do during your time, you may do so.
No, my phone's charging, babe. Go get my bed.
21.
No, go
Okay.
get my bed.
Rolled a natural
30, 20.
Okay.
Nice.
Nice.
We see all.
Is there anything that you want to do during your watch? Okay.
He's not very happy with me about being sent off to bed.
No.
I think Gerbil just kind of like do a slow like perimeter around.
All right.
I forget. Were we by that cave still, or did we like
You're about
move
2
off?
hours
Wait.
away from it.
Okay, that's No. That'll go
And with your perception checks, I would say that around halfway through your watch, you do hear, you feel a little bit of a rumble in the ground. Kind of almost like, like footsteps. It's far enough. I mean, it doesn't sound like it's close. It doesn't sound like it's like right around the corner, but it does sound a bit away. You'll hear a couple of footsteps, a couple more, and then they'll start kind of trailing off a bit. Maybe you'll hear a couple of trees breaking as well. But it only lasts for maybe like the span of maybe like 15 minutes, and then it's gone.
So, Gerbil, have you been taking your medicine?
No.
Might want to take some before you go to sleep.
What was the guy we met in the Erebus Empire? Like he jabbed like a crystal into my side. That's what's the medicine now, right? I don't have to take this sketchy potion for the guy we met in Echo, right?
Right. He told you to keep
Yeah.
that just in case anything started getting worse.
Okay.
But you wouldn't have to take it daily.
I don't know. I think the crystal's doing its jobs, and every time I took the medicine, that I kind of blacked out, had weird dreams, and started seeing weird things and hearing weird things, and I think that was also around the time I just started to walk off bridges, and maybe I just I'll just hold on to it for now. But thanks for watching it out for me. Triple doesn't remember. I wasn't here that session. So.
All right. Okay, so if nothing else, then y'all will finish your watch and on to the next.
I have a pet. Ha ha.
Are you saying that to
Right.
Gerbil?
Yeah. She's
I'll-
I don't think they've really like had like a one-on-one conversation in a while, so it's like awkward now. It's back to being weird.
I'll look at Garnet and
Garnet's all like you know, like a bird, you know, like the feathers are all like
Yeah.
puffed out, and it's just kind of like they're in her bedroll where her you know her the pillow, the head part is, and just kind of like.
to be honest, I thought it would have flown away by now, but it's still here, so I guess it's here for good now. At least he's quieter than Zephyr, so
It's true.
She'll
Small
chuckle
blessings.
at that and say, at least it's a little bit easier than spiders. I'm surprised y'all up here don't really like. I think Tegan was saying something about not catching animals. You just kind of.
I mean, some people catch animals. You mean for like training?
Mhm.
I mean, we got the horses, but I mean, and then there's, I've known some people around who are kind of like Rin and Mags. Well, not exactly like Rin and Mags. They seem to have this weird dream thing going on. But I've seen people with dogs and wolves and, but it's I mean, I guess it depends on where you are, I guess.
Wait, so that's
Animals
not...
never really liked me, so I never paid attention.
So you're saying there's not a normal creature where you're from? She'll point at
No. I'm assuming I've never seen anything like the owl cat.
Yeah, make an intelligence check, Gerbil.
The best thing I'm good at. That's a 4.
Yeah, you've never seen this before.
Nope. Yeah. It kind of looks like an owl, but it looks like a cat. It kind of. I mean, it
As the two of you are staring at it, like this is a time that it will suddenly like, and it will just like see something and like whoosh off like really quickly into some more trees.
Heard you talking about it.
I mean, I don't know. I guess I could have seen something like that in the Feywild, but that's a bit. That stuff's a bit touchy in my head. But it seems a little too nice to be from the Feywild, so that's good.
Flies back, lands, and like gets back into your bedroll, Pyxrin, and is like, you see this like tail come out, in its mouth, like. And then it just kind of like puffs up again. Gets comfortable.
Just goes and
She,
gets what it wants.
well,
I respect that.
Salute. Honestly, she's wondering if like somebody literally like crossbred a cat and an owl.
We've seen some strange things.
I mean,
We don't know what these mages been up to in these woods.
She shares that thought with Gerbil.
You hear
Because I've
banjos.
never seen that creature before, so it's like,
I don't.
I wonder.
Gerbil, like he's about to like be like, no, that's stupid. But then he'd be like, well, wait, we've seen some really weird
Really
stuff.
weird things. Yeah.
We have no idea at this point. We're long
do
gone.
Do you think it lays eggs, or is like cat just has a litter?
They're important questions.
Mm-hmm.
These are questions people ask in the middle of night. They're supposed to be
Yep, at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Well, I think it's a mammal. Ooh, you want to make a bet? If I breed it,
Well,
litter or eggs?
Gerbil was about to agree, but then he's like, wait, no, that would require you to get another one, and I think we should stick for one for a little bit, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah,
But-
I just kind of realized I don't even know if it's male or female.
Gerbil will like look at it and cock his head. I don't know.
I'm not looking right
Roll for
now.
investigation look for a penis.
No. Gerbil's not touching it. Touching the bird, the owl. But
She'll just chuckle and just kind of like be quiet after that.
Mhm. Yep. Yep.
But still wonder.
All right. Okay.
Breed it.
So, end of second watch, and everything seems okay. On to third.
Phew. 17.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you, don't, see anything specifically. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Yeah. No, you don't, other than a couple of birds kind of like flying overhead, hawks, but that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Everything seems quiet. So, next morning, everyone getting up? Getting going?
Yep.
John and Lyric will put up their tent, fold it up. Alright, so, are we trying to ride our horses up this mountain, or are we going to guide them, like John suggested?
Gerbil will be guiding
Yeah, guiding.
Okay.
Grumble.
I'll walk beside Mags.
Okay.
Pyxrin's gonna tentatively walk beside her horse.
Okay.
Or in front slightly and lead it, but
All right.
still like
Okay.
eyeing the horse a little bit.
Okay. All right. Okay. Why don't the four of you make animal handling checks, please?
Even me?
With advantage. No, not you, Ren. Pyxrin, Gerbil, and Tegan. Animal handling checks with advantage, please.
Oh my gosh.
I rolled a 9.
Oh, with advantage?
With advantage, I'm going to use my inspiration die. That's
Okay.
D6, right?
Yeah.
I rolled a 9 as well.
16.
Okay.
I'm up to 11.
Okay.
If this horse
That's-
kicks me in the ass, I swear
No,
to
no,
God.
Pyxrin, you're able to with that roll.
That's
You're
what I get
definitely-
for using D&D Beyond. I should have used it in real life.
Your horse is behaving itself, Pyxrin. It's the
Okay.
other. It's Tegan's and Gerbil's horse that is not. Absolutely is not.
Grumble,
kinda
Grumble,
hit
stop
the
it.
edge there.
Stop it.
Yeah, they're
Made
kind
that
of.
bet.
As I said, like the mountainside is getting a little steeper,
My horse laid an egg.
and you have a good you travel this for probably like 5 hours. I would say about 5 hours. Starts getting a little bit steeper. You can start seeing like a top of the mountain. But they seem to get just kind of distracted and just kind of like, no, I don't want to go. I don't, kind of a little stubborn for you, for Tegan and Gerbil. But you're able to kind of, guide them up with a little bit of extra time. I think all I want here is perception checks, since you don't really have, it's pretty much a straight thing. You see like the top of the mountain that you're going towards. Just need to, who's keeping a lookout?
So there's no survival, no guiding. You kind of just
No, sir. No. It's just a straight. It's pretty much just a straight. Like there's nothing that you have to like guide through.
Are we all making perception checks?
If you
Yeah, I
want to.
Yeah.
If you're keeping an eye out.
30,
22.
Okay.
8.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm laughing. Pyxrin's laughing a little bit at
Oh, for sure.
the other
Gerbil's-
horses having a hard. Yep.
Gerbil's focusing on Grumble and just be like, come on, you know better. You know better.
It's
Because I rolled a 4, so I'm not looking at anything except Grumble.
yeah, quite the sight, Pyxrin. Garnet will be on your shoulder for a bit, but then also fly like on the back of the horse and sit, and kind of perch there as well, as you're guiding it up this mountain. A couple of times it will kind of fly ahead and fly around you and come back. I would say with all the rolls combined, you don't really see anything other than the occasional hawk. You might see a couple of goats, like some little clusters of goats here and there. None really close to where you are. I'd say the closest is probably like 25 feet away. But you pass a couple of those as you keep ascending this mountain. Definitely towards the top, it gets a little bit more steep. So everyone make dexterity checks. Dexterity checks for me. A lot of checks tonight. This is
30, 20.
your course.
60
Dirty
plus
20.
Got a nat 20 plus 1. So
Wow.
Yes.
I was surprised too. I was like, oh shit.
I just got a boring 17.
Okay. We all still did great. Cool. Okay, wait a minute. Okay.
Zephyr's down
All
in the
right.
ditch. Because
Okay.
Zephyr rolled bad.
Zephyr and Rhaenyra's were having a bit of a hard time. They do make it, but it just takes like an extra like half hour for them to kind of like, they keep slipping and having to like grab onto something. And have especially trouble with their horses, getting them kind of up. There's like a little path to kind of help with the horses. But it's still rocky, and there are little pieces of rock on the path, so it's easy to slip. We'll say that Lyric's having a really hard time. It takes him it takes him extra long as well, but everyone finally gets up to the top of this mountain. And as you get up here and, you get to this, to the very top and are able to see over to the other side, it's kind of incredible. You see several, it's basically a huge cavern. It almost plunges off into it immediately, like maybe like 10 feet from you. It just goes downward. You see some, like, in this sunlight that's still out, you see some glinting below, like almost like crystals, but not, you see it's different colors. So it seems it seems natural. But that's far, far down below. Like, we're talking like a football field below. Above that, and between you and, there's a kind of a larger precipice about a football field away from you, straight across this cavern. But between that are all kinds of little, like, these rock pedestals that come all the way up from the bottom of this cavern. And in between those are bridges. There were some made out of wood planks with rope. There are some made out of vines, almost, it seems, that are a bit narrower, but looks like maybe they were made out of rope originally, but vines have like came and like taken over and are weaving around the rope. You also have the same thing with the wooden plank bridges. But these bridges, they go from platform to platform, all the way over to this other side, and almost even to varying heights as well. Looking out at this, you're probably, just without specifically counting each one of them, you would assume maybe like there are at least 35 to 40 bridges going from one platform to another, to another, to another. Some of them look in better shape. Some of them look more put together. But that's what you see. John and Larrick kind of looking out at this. John will kind of take a deep breath and be like, well, I see why some people didn't come back from this trip now. And that's what will end tonight's session.
You didn't think you rolled enough checks tonight. Wait till you get them next week.
Wait till you get them next week. No. You'll have, just so you know, I mean, like, you know, just to prepare you, like, we did have a ton of checks tonight with the travel. You'll have a few, you'll have checks with this portion, but then after that, I mean, after that, you'll be, you know, other than just like regular perception checks and stuff, you won't have any like ability runs, I guess. There's a name for them and I can't think of it. But yeah, so.
Are these
Death saving throws aren't ability checks, are they? No.
Are these, just out of curiosity, are these rope bridges big enough for the horses, or we're gonna have to leave them?
Well, there could be a way. I'll probably have you roll like a perception check next week to see if there's a way. And just remind me next week too. Just remember your horses.
You guys should have a soul connection to your horse.
This is great. It's so mean. We dragged the horses up this mountain, and then we're like, okay, go back down. or let's take you on a death bridge. Either way, we're terrible horse owners.
There are bridges that have the wooden planks that you can maybe try to take them over, but you definitely have to. As I said, some of them looked more like a little more better constructed than others. So that is something that you'd have to take a look at next week. All right, so
first step is a doozy.
Yes. Yeah. So that's it. So thank you, players. Thank you, viewers, for being here. We appreciate your viewership. I'm pretty sure, 90% positive, that we might have a guest next week. So that'll be fun. Nice. Super excited. So tune in next week for a guest appearance, hopefully, if everything works out. But yeah.
Guys, it's Anderson, Cooper, and Jeremy Renner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, it's just Zach.
If y'all are unaware, you've been watching The Forsaken, which is every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time here on Maverick Streams. You have all kinds of different D&D things throughout the week here. Mondays, Tuesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, we have D&D 5e content, as well as on Saturdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, we have Tower of Dreams, which is more D&D 5e content. Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, we have Dungeon Craft with Steph and Vic, where myself and Victoria work on miniatures. We paint miniatures, we work on dungeon tiles. And then on Fridays at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, we have Mad Art with Steph, where staff do some fan art for the different campaigns and the shows that y'all have voted on. And the one I'm starting on Friday is going to be a Pyxrin pinup that's going to say, it's like a party in your mouth. So we're going to start out that on Friday. So that's the new one, and that's the new one of our 2021 lineup that we voted on towards the end of 2020. So super excited about that. We also have a Patreon, so if you're looking for ways to support the channel, it's a great way to do so. So check that out. Not only do you get some stuff, we get more back, so it's a preferred way to support if you're looking for that. As we mentioned earlier, you get movie nights at the $20 and up tier. So it's plus a ton of other stuff like art cards. It's just really cool. Weekly DM posts. And yeah, so we always head over and raid someone. So let me see who we have streaming right now so that we can give them some love. Let's see here. Action Among Us. Let's see, it looks like maybe Behold Roleplay. Yeah. So let's go over to Behold Roleplay and give them some attention. They are a great group of D&D streamers. So give them some love. Give them a caw in the chat. And let them know that they're doing a great job. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. We love you guys. Stay safe, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you hopefully tomorrow for Curious Lament at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and for Dungeon Craft at 2. So, bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Night.
And...
Bye.